Hey mates, it's T here. Today I'm going to be doing a trading tutorial for Eve Online. Couple housekeeping items I wanted to mention from the get-go. If you stay with me for the duration of my video here, I will be revealing a trade secret to you, and so that's something to look forward to. I can't believe I'm actually doing it because it's one of the things that I've been very successful with. It's a bit of a trade secret for me, and but I'm going to go ahead and reveal that as your reward for staying with me to the very end. And also, I have a request. My request is that if you watch this video and you learn from it, you implement it, and you profit from it, I simply ask that you refer at least 3 other people to my video. Viewership is my reward for my time and effort in putting this together for you. So I ask, that's all I ask for. I just ask that you, if you get a lot out of the video and you find this very helpful, just refer, maybe new players, maybe people who don't know how to trade or whatever. Whatever the deal is, I just ask that you refer at least 3 people to my video and help my viewership. Okay, so like I said, that's my reward. So as you can see, well, first of all, I want to point out my Kestrel. I'm using my Kestrel as a backdrop, Caldari frigate, and this one in particular is named the SS Arleigh Burke, in homage to one of my favorite real-life ships of all time. And so, and also you can see that we're trading out of Jita IV-4. That terminology, the 4 TAC 4, this is Jita 4, Roman numeral 4, and then this little hyphen here is called TAC, and then Moon 4. So refer to this as Jita 4 TAC 4, okay? So there's a couple reasons why I'm doing this out of Jita 4 TAC 4. The primary reason is because Jita 4 TAC 4 is without a doubt the largest marketplace in all of New Eden, okay, bar none. There are other trade hubs in Eve. Okay, in Mimitar space, they have the system Heck is one of their trade hubs. In they have Amar in Amarian space, and honestly, I know Galente have 2 or 3 major trading hubs. Nobody cares about Galente. Nobody gives a crap about them. They are largely irrelevant. So I'm not even going to give them any time and discuss them. Okay, so I'm kidding, guys. It was a joke. It's a faction warfare thing. Anyway, so yeah, there are other trade hubs in the area, but Jita is by far the largest, most vibrant marketplace in all of New Eden. So, and related to that, with orders coming and going very quickly, it's very competitive. The pricing competition is very competitive. So if you actually want to know what the true objective value of any particular item is in Eve, you will find what the objective value is if you come to Jita and you see what the marketplace says it's worth. Just like in real life, that's the objective value, is what the market will bear. The pricing between buyers and between sellers, and then the competition between the buyers and sellers, all of that pricing competition will boil down the true value of anything in Eve. Okay, so with that being said, one of the questions you have to ask yourself if you're starting off, maybe you're a new player or just new to trading, one of the first questions you're asking yourself is, well, what in the world am I going to trade in the first place? That's a reasonable question to ask. And on a side note, I want to use real life technical terms for what we're doing here. So what we actually are doing here is we're trading on arbitrage. Okay, arbitrage is a term that describes the difference or the spread or gap between the lowest ask price of the seller and the highest bid price of the buyer. Okay, that's referred to as arbitrage, is that difference between the two. Okay, and that's where we're going to find our profit. Our profit is found in the degree of arbitrage that exists. Okay, so before we really get rolling with this, I want to just show you real quick. I'm going to open my regional market window. I'm going to click this quick bar tab here, okay? And this quick bar tab is become my best friend for trading. You'll see I already have folders set up, and you can set up folders down here with new folder. Okay, and I have several. I'm not going to reveal the contents. Those are trade secrets in my folders there. But I did want to show you these skills here are basically your basic trading skills that you'll need, and most of I mean all of these are fairly useful. You see day trading here, I especially know on day trading, what that allows you to do. You know, you can set up your orders here in Jita IV-4, and if you have day trading, it allows you to modify or maintain your orders from afar. So you can set up your orders here, and then you can go 4 or 5 jumps over to, I don't know, 0.5 system, and you can jump into your mining barge. You can be blasting rocks, and while your mining barge is going through its cycles, you could have this market window open, and you could be doing trades, active trades, and competitively bidding while your miner is mining. And that's a fantastic thing because we all know time. Time is, you know, the most precious resource any of us have. So if you can use your time more efficiently, then go for it. You know, absolutely. Um, so I just wanted to point these out. Okay, these are all very useful for different reasons. Some of them reduce your taxes. Some of them reduce the fees. Others reduce the amount of escrow, like for larger ticket items. The amount of escrows reduced. Um, and I think it's retail helps you with how many open orders you can have at any given time. Okay, so these are all very good basic trading skills that you want. There are actually over a dozen of them. I'm not going to go through them all. If you want to know what they are, you can open up the info tab on any of them, and the descriptions on them are very self-explanatory. Okay, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure it out. So I'm not going to really get into that too much. So as I was saying, one of the things that you're probably asking yourself is, well, what am I going to trade in the first place? Um, well, there's some factors that go into answering that question. Okay, one of the factors involved in deciding what you're going to trade is your wallet size. Now, if you're a newer player, you probably don't have a whole lot of access to ISK right away. So, you know, and some of these modules or ships or whatever, they're very expensive in Eve, and so their cost alone kind of precludes you from trading in them, at least to start out with. Okay, so how fat your wallet is has got a lot to do with what you're going to be able to trade. Okay, another factor involved in deciding what to trade is your tolerance for risk. Okay, some of these items are the competition, the pricing competition is hyper competitive. Okay, very, very competitive. There are some things where you literally have to sit in a station and you would literally have to modify your orders every few seconds. It's hyper competitive in some things. So, and you know, there's fierce bidding competition. Sometimes you get some traders try to push other traders out of the market for a particular thing. And also, I mean, you got to ask yourself on any given item, am I willing to lay out that kind of cash to be able to trade for that? So it all depends on what your tolerance of risk is. Okay. Another factor in what you want to trade is volume, how fast that object is traded back and forth. I'll have more to say about that later. Okay, but really the key idea about volume is you want to make sure when you choose something to sell or you think about selling something, you want to make sure that there are going to be buyers for that item. Okay, the last thing you want to do is you want, for example, you don't want to, let's say you come across something that's got a huge arbitrage opportunity there, a huge profit potential. So you buy it all up, thinking you're going to make a killing in the market. You acquire a whole bunch of it, and then you can't sell it, right? Because nobody wants it. There's all kinds of silly novelty items in Eve. A lot of stuff there in the market that's available that very few people want, or they just don't move. And like I said, I'm going to show you a little bit of some stuff about that later on. Okay, but the key idea is make sure whatever you decide to trade in, make sure it's something that people want. Okay. Related to volume, there's a couple of trading strategies worth mentioning. One of the strategies that you'll find in trading for in consumables, for example, ammunition or booster cap booster charges, is where there's very slim arbitrage. Okay, in other words, the gap between the low ask price and the high bid price, that gap is very, very slim. Okay, the reason people still trade in it is because of the volume and the frequency. Okay, so in other words, they don't make a whole lot of profit um, per unit on that item, but they basically sell a shit ton of them. Pardon my French. Okay, so um, there's some people who prefer that kind of deal where they're not making a lot off of the product itself, but they're making a lot of ISK because of the frequency and volume. Okay, contrast that with the other strategy, which is what I employ myself, is where I look for items that have huge gaps um, between the ask price and the bid price. Okay, I look for huge arbitrage opportunities, huge profit potential, and it may be something that doesn't really trade all that often. It may take me a little while to unload it, um, and that's okay. So a lot of this, you're going to find that a lot of this stuff is really personal preference. Again, your wallet size, your risk tolerance, volume, frequency, all those factors are very important when you figure out what you want to trade. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. What I want to actually do is I want to pull up something. I kind of scouted this out a little bit ahead of time. Okay. And get my regional market back open again. I'm going to hit my browse tab. And, just to keep this fun, because we're all about fun if you're playing EVE Online, just for fun, purposes of this demonstration, I am going to trade in, come on, female exotic dancers. Yeah. So, you know, just kind of a funny side note. This is something kind of fun that I do myself. I actually buy these, and not even necessarily to trade for them. I actually buy them because I put them. I'll buy a exotic dance. I'll take one and I'll put it at cargo hold. I PvP quite a bit, and I do lose from time to time, and so it's just something fun I do. And if I lose a PvP match, sometimes I'll PM the guy that beat me, and I'll be like, "Hey, man, I'd really like to get my dancers back. Any chance I could get them back?" And we'll have a good laugh about it. And sometimes they'll be like, "Oh yeah, man, good looking out, good looking out. Yeah, you can have your dancers back, man. That's cool." Uh, and then some other times, like I had a guy one time give me this huge elaborate story about how my exotic dancers were sucked into the vacuum of space, and their bodies turned ice cold and were never seen again. And then I had another guy actually ransom. He wanted ransom for my exotic dancers. So it's just, it's one of them deals. I just do it for fun, just to kind of add a little bit more fun or whimsy to my game, So, but we're gonna go ahead and look at this as a trade item. You could tell. Well, let me not get ahead of myself. You see two windows here. You see a seller's window and a buyer's window. Okay. One of the first things you want to do is on this header here. Okay, on the price header, you want to click that, and you want to make sure that these are all organized so that the lowest ask price is on top. At the moment, for Jita IV-4, which is it tells you right here, the lowest ask price is $50,255. Okay. Conversely, on the buyer's window, okay, you want to click that price header. It makes sure that the highest bid is at the top. Okay, right now the highest bid for female exotic dancers in Jita IV-4 is 50,251.04. So, okay, so you'll see here I have two blue orders. These are my orders that I had outstanding. They're highlighted in blue. So these are kind of visual cues that I do with my market window. Okay, the first cue being that the important information is at the top, and the other cue is that my orders are highlighted, so they're easy to identify. Okay. Now, if you don't already have that set where your orders are highlighted, just come up to this little gear button here, or cog. Click that, and it's right here. Okay, mark my orders. My mother used to say, mark my words, but I'm telling you, mark my orders. Okay, there it is. So my orders are marked by blue. Now, you'll see that since I placed these orders, okay, I was outbid. Okay, somebody placed an ask price for that was lower than mine for 50,255. Okay, now you'll notice also that my amounts that I posted here are in round numbers. Okay, there's a good reason for that. I'm going to share something with you right now that I'm not particularly proud of. I kind of had some bad experiences with the decimal point. One story in particular, one that happened fairly recently, in the last few months. It was when the tactical destroyer, the Confessor, came out. At the time, it was trading for around 100 million ISK, and so trading was very competitive. It was hot and heavy. It was good. There was good arbitrage opportunity in it, so I wanted to jump in and get in the fight. So I went ahead, placed my buy order, ignored the confirmation window, and next thing I knew, I had just paid 1 billion ISK for a ship that's worth 100 million. So yeah, I did that. Um, and I got like I almost knew it almost as soon as I clicked the button to execute. I already knew what I had done, and I tell you, I got that sinking feeling in my stomach, man. I was like, oh, I can't believe I just did that. And so I basically overpaid for that ship. I overpaid by 900 million ISK. And because of an errant decimal point. I mean, it was like 100 million something and change, right? So I was using a decimal point. I was trying to outbid them by a few cents or whatever. And I just simply put the decimal point in the wrong spot. Now, that's not the first time I had done that. I would like to think, I like to think it would be the last time I did that, but I can't. I can't even say that with certainty. But one of the things that I do when I trade to mitigate that risk of doing it again is I trade in whole numbers. So if you're ever in Jita IV-4 and you get some guy that you're competing on price with, and it's a nice round number, you'll know it's probably me. Okay, so at any rate, just you got to be when you're doing this trades, you really have to be paying attention to what you're doing. You can't get so complacent. Like you get these confirmation windows pop up. We get complacent. We get in the habit of just closing them, say, okay, 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 whatever. Don't bother me. Go away. And then, but I tell you, man, those things can save your wallet big time. In the case of the Confessor, I got complacent. I just wasn't paying close enough attention, and I got to own it. I mean, it was a bonehead move, and it cost me. So, and related to that too, it's worth pointing out. If you make an epic market error like that, please don't beat yourself up over it. I mean, I know you probably will anyway. I know I did, especially over the Confessor ish debacle. Um, but honestly, and you may want to take a break from the game, walk away for a little bit. But listen, you got to know that it's a mistake. It's an easy mistake to make. Other people have made that mistake before you. Other people will make the same mistake after you. Um, what's important is that you learn from it, you get past it, you come back, and you get back into the fight. You get back into the trading, and just make it up. You'll make it up, and you'll make up the isk that you lost. You'll make it up elsewhere. Okay, you won't make it up if you rage quit and walk away from the game. You're gonna lose so much if you do that. So, take your licks, get back in the fight, get back into trading, get past it, earn your money back, and that's what I do. I mean, that was a bonehead thing that I did. Um, and also I want to share with you just real quick another anecdote. Um, Sometimes you get lucky. It doesn't hurt to ask for mercy. I had done something similar before that, and I overpaid by a huge amount on something, and I was so mad at myself. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that." And my mind was racing. It's like, how can I undo this? I mean, geez, the answer is you really can't, right? When it's done, it's done. So out of almost desperation, right, I PM the guy, and I'm like, "Wow, man, you saw a pretty good profit on that, didn't you?" And he laughed at me, and he's like, "Yeah, that was pretty epic." So, he had a really good laugh at my expense, and so we talked a little bit about it. We joked about it, and I was like, "Man, So near the end, I was like, I have nothing to lose, really. So I said to him, I says, "Any chance you'd be really cool at this moment and maybe refund me, part of what I overpaid?" And to my absolute astonishment, he did. He refunded almost the entire amount minus the actual value of the item. I mean, I'm talking it was hundreds of millions of ISK. And he gave it back. And that's one of the things I love about Eve is, and I've been playing for about 3 years. And one of the things I love about Eve, it's so easy in this game to become harsh or cynical for reasons I won't get into. Um, but, honestly, sometimes you play this game and you come across people that they astonish you. They do just something that is just truly astonishing and just blows you away. You're like, holy cow, how cool is that? I remember just a quick example, when I first started playing the game, I was in rookie space, you know, and I didn't know anything from anything. I'd been playing for, I think, a few days or something. And just some random guy came in and started talking to me and stuff like that and chit chatting, and he flew off, said goodbye, flew off. Well, I checked my wallet. The dude dropped like 5 million ISK in my wallet. Just gave it to me as a gift. I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome. And then later on, I had some other guy drop 50 million in my wallet. I'm like, oh my gosh, holy cow, where'd that come from? So, I mean, you come across that from time to time, and it's a beautiful thing about Eve. I mean, there's people of all walks coming to Eve, people of all different kinds of personalities, and it's truly astonishing. Sometimes some of the things that happen. So there's that. So I want to go ahead and get into the mechanics of this. Um, I've already set these orders up, and what I'm going to do, I want to show you actually the mechanics of setting up the orders, and then I'll actually come back up here to this. Okay, so come down here. I'm going to set, before you have anything to trade, you got to acquire a few to begin with. So you're going to place a buy order. So come down here, click the buy order. Okay, and highlight that. So I'm going to set a bid at, and all I have to do, technically speaking, I could, if I outbid the lead guy there, even by 1 penny, I got it, right? But I'm not. It's a personal rule. I deal in round numbers, so I'm going to go 5252, and I'm going to do a quantity of 5. Now the minimum is kind of important because you don't want to set a minimum of 10 necessarily, because if somebody only has one of the item and you said you want a minimum of 10 for that trade, you're not going to get the order fulfilled because they only had one. You said you wanted only 10. Um, for ammunition and some other things like that, you'll find people typically put in lots of 100 as a minimum, and that's okay. That's typical. That's a consumable item. You go through a lot of them, so that's okay. But for this case, a minimum of one will do. I want to talk about range real quick. Duration, I don't really want to get into too much. It's irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. Other than if you click that, the drop down menu, you can see if you scroll down, you can actually have up to 3 months duration on your open trades. There may be a skill for that. I'm not positive. For range, there's a couple things worth mentioning. Excuse me. Um, for range, there's a couple things worth mentioning. On range, I like to use solar system. Okay, and the reason for that is here at Jita IV-4, there are an awful lot of people who would rather avoid Jita IV-4 altogether for whatever reason. Jita IV-4 is camped by suicide gankers, and they are looking for a juicy target to gank. Excuse me. Other people may be under war deck, and they find Jita IV-4 is blockaded, so they don't want to risk coming to Jita IV-4. So there are legitimate reasons why people avoid the station altogether. So if you have your orders set for solar system, then you're kind of helping them help you, right? You're just making it easier for them to sell to you. And so, if you have that set, I mean, I've acquired things before in other stations that I wouldn't have otherwise obtained. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to look at the numbers here. Now my number is a round number up here. It's not down here because of the broker fee. Okay, and everything checks out. You want to double check. Okay, make sure you double check the numbers. Okay, make sure you don't make a epic failure market trade like I did. Right. So click buy. Confirmation window. Make sure it checks out. And there it is. There's my order. Highlighted in blue, I am the highest bidder for exotic dancers, right? Now, you'll notice up here, and I'll do it down here too, I'm actually going to set up a second set of orders for this. So I'll make this 50, 253. Again, we'll do a quantity of 5. Month, solar system range. Double check your numbers here. Make sure you're not making some kind of silly mistake. And buy. And confirm. Okay, and there's the second set. Okay, so you might be asking me like, well, why are you running multiple sets for the same thing, right? Does that make any sense? My answer is absolutely it makes sense. I'm going to show you why. These two orders up here, okay, I was outbid on, right? They undercut me on the ask price. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this one. In the order, okay, this would be my oldest set here, the second one. So I'm going to right click on that to modify. And I'm going to set my modified price to just below what that seller's low ask price was. So I'm going to go 50, 254. And another side benefit to not using a decimal place, if you look down here, okay, my total change is a nice round number. Okay. So that is that's just another visual cue. I try to implement a lot of visual cues when I do my trades for this reason. Okay, it makes my trade. They're kind of like little safeties that I built into my methodology here, and so I'll click OK. And now you'll see that I am once again the lowest priced seller. My ask price is the lowest price in the Jita IV-4 market. So I don't know like how quickly. I don't know if this person here is online at this particular moment. I don't know how soon it would take for me to be outbid on this for him to undercut this order. But let's say, for example, okay, hypothetically, let's say they come back and they undercut me and they set their new ask price at 50,253.99 or something like that, okay? Undercuts me yet again. Now, let's say I only had this one set here and I don't have this one here, okay? Well, if he comes back and he counters my modification here, okay, if he counters me on that, if I go to counter him back and I go to modify my order, I'll make this, let's say, 50,252, because, or whatever, it doesn't matter. So I want to undercut him again, round numbers here on my total change. So I click OK to counter him. You get this operational delay. Now this is a game mechanic that CCP built into Eve. Okay, so this is why you can't instantaneously counter one another in the marketplace. This is one of the major departures for example, real life trading. Okay, I mean, theoretically, a lot of the trading methodologies and skills do translate to real life, but there are enough differences. Don't think that you're going to learn how to trade in Eve Online and then be able to run off and day trade in real life. There are some game mechanics involved here that are significantly different from real life. Okay, and operational delay is one of those, right? So I'm prevented from countering any counter offers. I think the counter is for 4 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. It might be 5, but I'm pretty sure it's 4. Okay, so basically, if I get outbid by anybody, I can't react for like 4 minutes, right? And they might sell it if it's a high frequency item or high volume item. I might just miss my opportunity to sell some. Okay. So that's the purpose of having multiple sets, because now let's say the guy does actually, let me do real quick. I just want to do update. I'm going to click this and get a market update. Okay, I'm still okay. I still have the lowest ask price, but let's say theoretically he undercuts me. He's at 50,253.99. So he undercuts me. Having the second set here, okay, allows me to react to that counter offer, and I can actually counter him. So having the second set, I can modify this order. I'm going to modify order. I'm going to make this 50,000, say 253. Or 2. For the purposes of demonstration, we'll say 50,252. Okay, round number again down here on my total change. Click OK. And there it is. Okay, so I would have, if I was outbid with this set, okay, if I was undercut for that set, I would be able to counter that with my second set, and basically I would leapfrog the counter offer. Okay, and I have found, like on some items, you may even want to have maybe even 3 or 4 sets. I think probably not 4. I think 3. Having 3 sets is good. Having 3 separate sets has worked really well for me, and I found that it works pretty well in countering most If it's heavy bidding or a lot of competition, having 3 sets works really well. And also, when you're doing that, you want to stagger the amount of time that you do your modifications, so that you're able to stagger your sets time wise, so that you always want to have, for example, you always want to try to have at least one of your sets free to modify. Okay, so that you can counter any anytime you get outbid. Okay, so in summary, we're talking about setting up orders here. You have a sell window, you have a buy window. You want the lowest ask price at the top of the sell window. You want the highest bid price at the top of the buy window. You want to make sure you have your visual cues. Okay, you want to turn on your highlight or mark your orders. Okay, and you want to have multiple sets. Okay, multiple sets for the same thing, so that you can effectively or mitigate the effect of the operational delay. Okay, and basically you'd be able to overcome being outbid by using more than one, preferably 3 sets for the same thing. Okay. I forgot to mention too on the range thing. Kind of a side note on the range thing. I wanted to mention. Let me see. I'll place a buy order so it comes up. I don't know if I'm repeating myself here, but I mean it's worth repeating if I am repeating. um, the solar system range. It's possible when you place the buy orders. Click that. It's possible. You can set a buy order with a range of 40 jumps or region or whatever. The problem with that is that there are some systems like Jita IV-4 is certainly within 10 jumps or 5 jumps, I believe, of Tama. And Tama is a major low sec gateway that's camped very heavily. So, for example, if you set your buy order and the range is 10 jumps away, and somebody in Tama has that item, they sell it to you. Well, guess what, chump? You gotta fly into Tama to go get it. You gotta go into Losac. You gotta risk the gate camps and everything else. Risk losing your ship to go into Losac to fetch your item. Okay, so that's something to worry about. You want to be mindful of where you are in relation to Losac space, so that you don't, you don't make purchases that are in Losec and cause you to have to assume more risk than is necessary. Okay, so I don't know if I had pointed that out. If I'm repeating myself, it's okay, because that is definitely worth repeating. I've had my own members do it. I've done it myself, made purchases for things that I needed, and then I go to get them, like, oh crap, man, I could go through low sec to get it. So just be mindful of that. That's another point. Okay, just want to demonstrate a couple things here real quick. I'm going to move on away from exotic dancers, and I want to just real quickly, I want to show you kind of a tale of two cities, as it were. I'm going to pull up the Scorpion. I can't spell now. There we go. Arr. Come on. My computer apparently is starving for RAM or something. No, that's not true. I have some software running in the background, so it's a little laggy. I apologize. Okay, so this is the market information for Jita IV-4 for the Scorpion battleship, Caldari battleship. And you can see right now the lowest ask price for the Scorpion is 162.3, let's call it, okay? 162.3 million ISK for this battleship. The highest bid, okay, for that battleship, for the same battleship, is 158.3 million ISK. Okay, so the arbitrage or the spread between these two prices is only 4 million ISK. Okay, So in other words, for something that is valued at, say, roughly 160 million ISK, your profit potential is only 4 million ISK, right? So for the degree of risk in trading in it in the first place, for the amount of ISK that you have to lay out there to obtain it, uh, it's just not worth it. Not for 4 million ISK. I'm not saying that 4 million ISK isn't a lot of money to some people, but relative to how much you have to lay out for this particular thing, um, yeah, that's not something I would be trading in. Okay, it's just not for me. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth my time, effort, and risk to trade in that. The profit potential just sitting there, right? But different. Okay, we find the lowest ask price is quite nearly 700 million ISK. Okay, and we come down here, the highest bid is only 610 million ISK. All right, so you have quite nearly uh, profit potential of 90 million ISK for this ship. Okay, so that to me is far more appealing than the Scorpion was. Okay, we're talking a profit potential of 90 million ISK with an outlay of about 700 million ISK. Okay, so that's a far better prospect as a trade. Now, if you recall, I said that I would talk to you, show you some stuff about volume earlier in the presentation, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. Remember my advice about making sure that what you acquire is something that people actually want to buy, right? So you can find that information. You go to price history here, the price history tab, and click that, and you get this graph here. Okay, this information up here is the pricing data. Okay. What I want to talk to you about is this information right here. Okay, these green bars, that is the volume of sales per day. I have this set for 5 days, so each one of these is a day, right? And over here is your scale for the volume, right? So you can see, okay, for the Navy issue Scorpion, although it does have very large arbitrage opportunities or profit opportunities, you see that they only move about 6 per day. Let's say between 6 of them here. There's maybe, I don't know, 15 or 20 on this particular day, right? But certainly not real big numbers for volume or frequency. Okay, so this would be a high ticket item that is traded very, very slowly. I, in fact, tried to trade with the Navy issue Scorpion, and frankly, I just got out of it because I could never really acquire one, and it just took forever to acquire them and took forever to sell it. And it's just the market just is not there, right? So this is another example where you have huge profit potential, but it's going to be a real bear to unload. Okay, I want to go back. Okay, with that in mind, and go back and go back to my dancers. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Come on, don't be shy. There's lag again. Sorry about that. I'm going to click female dancers. Now, in contrast to the Navy issue Scorpion, and the Scorpion itself had about the same kind of frequency or volume. So, you could call it between 5 or 10 typically per day. So, look at the volume for exotic dancers, right? For female exotic dancers, we're talking several hundred per day are moved here at Jita IV-4. Okay. In this case, actually more than 2,000 of them. 2,000 of them cleared the market. Okay, so I mean, not as much profit potential in that, but they sure do move pretty well. So that's what you want. You just want to find a happy medium. You want to find something that's got really good profit potential, a huge degree of arbitrage. That moves very quickly, that you can unload very quickly. So, with that being said, I am now prepared to make my my trade secret reveal. Okay, I hope you're ready. I know you've been looking forward to this for the whole presentation. I'm about to reveal something that I've been doing myself for over a year. I've done very, very well with it, and I'm about to let the cat out of the bag. And I don't mean the catalyst either. Okay, so here we go. And I don't know why the fill-in didn't work. So, yeah, did I misspell that? You see, and this is where, and this has got a lot to do with why I made those epic market errors. The text in this thing is so doggone small. There we go. Okay, there it is. I'm sorry about that delay there. I misspelled it the first time. So this is my big market reveal, or my big trade secret, right? And you'll see why in a second. Okay, here we are. So if you're a new player, for example, you just started playing Eve, your wallet is kind of thin, right? You haven't really had an opportunity to make a lot of ISK. And you're wondering, how can I get started in trade? What's a good thing for me to get started with? This is one of my main staples here. This is my meat and potatoes. This is what I started trading in. Okay, civilian afterburner. Now these modules are picked up in the starter mission areas for Caldari Space, for example. Akinavis is one of them. Where you have those starter agents, right? So they make you run these missions, and the civilian afterburner is one of those free modules that you get from them. Okay, now as a new player, a lot of them, like, and I know in Akinavis, the high bid, buyer bid price is around 60,000 ISK. Okay, around 60,000 ISK. So these new players, they're new to the game. They don't really have the concept of money, or ISK or valuations or anything like that. They get this free module. They're like, well, heck, I need them. I need the ISK, so they sell it. Well, here's the problem. This particular item, as I said, the high bid price is around 60,000 ISK. Okay, these sell for, and I have sold many, many of them very recently. These sell for in Okinawas, for example, at about 230,000 ISK. You heard me right. I acquire these for about 60,000 ISK, and I flip them for nearly 3 times what I paid in Okinawas. Now, if you're really clever, you could come to Jita IV-4, pick them up for about 30,000 ISK each, and then fly them over to Okinawas and post them for sale there for 230. And I mean, you're just making, listen, that's an outstanding freaking return on your money right there. That is a fantastic item to trade, particularly if you're starting out. It's one of my favorite things to trade. I'm letting the cat out of the bag. The thing is, the people who see this video first, who choose to seize upon this, they're probably going to rush to Okinawas, and we're going to see this arbitrage opportunity, this profit opportunity here, get basically reach equilibrium. All the profits are going to be bid away. And eventually the market would probably equalize, and we'll find equilibrium. So the arbitrage would be, slim or none. But if you're one of the early viewers, then I mean, I'm letting you know. I mean, stuff, and if it's not, if it's not the civilian afterburner, I mean, there's other things out there just like that, with huge, huge arbitrage um, numbers or percentage, and good volume. I mean, these move here in Jita 4 Tech 4. These move between 50 and 100 per day. 50 to 100 per day. And I sell them all the time. It's almost in Okinawas, it's almost no effort, little or no effort on my part. I acquire them. I've had the same orders, the same winning bids on both ends of the selling and the buying for a week. So I go there once a week just to check it, and a lot of times I'm still the lead bidder. So almost little or no effort on my part. So I'm letting the cat out of the bag here. This is a major, major trade thing that I'm letting go. I'm letting it go. I'm passing the torch to you, my viewer. For that's your reward for staying with me this whole time and watching this video. Again, I ask in return. I simply ask for my reward, which is that when you profit from this video in Eve Online, that you refer at least 3 other people to watch my video. Viewership is my reward for the time and effort in this presentation. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I do for station trading here at Jita 4 Tech 4. If you have any questions, I will try to be on top of the comment section. And please, my intention is to actually come up with a few tutorials. I got some ideas I want to do. So please subscribe and just make sure you keep in touch with me. Check out my other videos. And finally, I just want to say thank you again for your time and your energy and your effort in watching this video. I hope you got a lot out of it. If you're a new player, welcome to Eve Online. It's a fantastic game. It's just completely awesome. I hope you have a great experience, and I will see you out there, and fly safe. Thank you again. This is T signing off.